And Natasha, I can tell you right now that calling it a tentative agreement is fine. There's no finalized deal just yet, according to our sources who were on that call. So what that means is that Kevin McCarthy is still trying to reach these 20 members that have so far been blocking his bid for Speaker. There has been a lot of negotiation, per our sources, last night, even into today. A lot of concessions that Leader McCarthy has made to this group. They have been making demands about how they want the House rules to go. And on this call, what we found out is that Leader McCarthy seemed to be optimistic that something could come together soon in terms of a finalized deal. He sounded like there was progress being made, but there is no final deal, at least yet. His main point of negotiating on the other side, this group that has not been supporting him, is Congressman Chip Roy from Texas. And so what we heard per our sources on that call is that McCarthy and Roy have been close. Presumably, Roy would actually bring with him a couple of other members, meaning if he were able to be convinced, be okay with whatever these negotiations are, other members would also be convinced, and you potentially would see them flip and support Leader McCarthy. Now, it's not exactly certain how many out of those 20 would jump over if they're satisfied with this tentative agreement that we're referencing right now, because out of these 20, McCarthy would need 16 of them at a minimum just to win the speakership. So 5 holdouts still means that he does not have a clear path to win the Speaker's gavel. So there's still a lot of uncertainty, despite some Republicans moving in the direction that McCarthy and his allies want them to move in. Natasha, I can tell you a couple of other, I think, interesting points from this call. We have been reporting and hearing from a lot of Republicans who support McCarthy frustration with those 20 holdouts. And McCarthy on the call actually referenced that, talking about Chip Roy and talking about Byron Donalds, two of who have voted against McCarthy. And he said to the rest of his members, do not be frustrated with them. He says they are working hard to find some kind of agreement, some kind of solution. I thought that was interesting. Also on the call, you had other leaders within the party like Elise Stefanik and Steve Scalise talking about how President Biden is going on the offensive and, pointing at the sort of Republican dysfunction now. And these Republicans on this call are saying they want to reverse that tide. They don't want to give Democrats an advantage, and pointing to this party and saying, look, they can't get their stuff together. They cannot move forward. At this point, it is a fact that the House literally has not gavelled in yet and has not been sworn in, I should say, as a new Congress. So those are some of the key details. And again, the big takeaway, Natasha, is that if there is a deal in place, it is still in progress. Though a lot of McCarthy allies say they feel good about where they're headed, they're not quite there yet. And I think we're going to learn a lot today. Just one more point, Natasha, before I send it back over to you. We're heading into the weekend. So, they say that the smell of jet fumes, right? There are certain Republicans that may not stay here over the weekend if there's no final vote for Speaker that ends in somebody actually being elected today. So if this carries over into the weekend, some of the vote totals may have to change because people literally may not be here for the next couple of days. So that is an important key. The clock usually puts pressure on lawmakers whenever they come up against a deadline. We're going to find out soon whether that's the case here as well.
Yeah, several moving pieces, it sounds like, but perhaps a step in the right direction for McCarthy's team. We will have to see what happens today. But Joe, Khalil, so appreciate